Hi, this is Dawn Chase, and this is my standard 4 case study on parental apathy for course EDL 856. First off, what do I know? I know that I've been the assistant principal at JFK School for only about 4 months. I've recently completed my master's degree in educational administration. I'm very anxious to use what I've learned in one of my recent courses that I completed, which was school community relations. And I have a sense that parental involvement is not strong at the school, and I would like to change that. What do I know about the principal? I know that he says that he cares about the school and parental involvement, and yet he's had no success implementing successful programs. He says he has a good sense of what's going on in the community anyway because he attends meetings and conferences. He says he's tried getting parents involved before and had no success, so he's better off just leaving them alone. He says that if he really tries to get parents involved, he thinks that it will only have negative implications at the school. And he believes things are fine just the way they are. People don't want to be involved in the school anyway. Other concerns I have. Later, the principal states after our second meeting that he will approve a parent meeting, but he will not approve the creation of a PTO or a PTA. He will only approve a parent advisory group. The problem in this case is that parental involvement, from what I've seen and understood, is virtually nothing. The principal makes it sound as if the parents don't really care and they don't want to be involved with the school at all. I know that strong community parent involvement and school community partnerships are necessary and healthy for the school, the students, and the staff. I wonder, how can I foster these new connections without alienating myself from the principal and also potentially jeopardizing my job? What do I need to know? I really need to know the history of the school and the parental involvement history, get past records from people who have been around, organizations, people, teachers, other staff members, arm myself with as much information as I can about the past, and then work on building the future. I need to talk to any staff that may have been around when these supposed and alleged groups were started, and why did they fizzle out? Were they strong? How were they handled? I have a lot of questions. I need the backstory. And then I also need to talk to parents and people in the community to get what their perceptions and feelings are. And are they willing to come step up and be a part of the school, even if it's just coming inside and being a presence? Plan of action, not necessarily in this order, but I have 3 plans of action. First of all, as I said before, I'd interview the staff. I'd talk with the principal and make sure and tell him how I want to get a deeper understanding of what's happening right now as well as what happened in the past. Tell him during classroom walkthroughs or collaborations, I'd like to talk to the staff and just get a sense of what they think and what they feel. And once I get the time to formally or informally talk with the staff, I want to be sure to ask them their opinions and get their feelings about what they think we should do moving forward. This shouldn't be an individual decision or a principal and vice principal decision. This should be a decision for all involved. Also, classroom teachers have the most direct link to parents as it is, so they would have the best avenue to getting communication started. And I'd encourage teachers to start putting out small blurbs and weekly newsletters, inviting the parents to come in, whether it's to help read or come in with art projects, go on field trips, etc. Then with the parent connection, I would try to make myself visible and available as much as I could, and just do that in the normal times when people are being dropped off for school, picked up early, picked up after school. I would make sure that I would talk to people and greet them and help them feel welcome and appreciated. I'd make time for small talk. This sounds kind of silly, but I would use any opportunity or conversation starter to just talk with people. I collaborate with staff and talk with parents about ways they think would be important to get more parents at school. How could that be facilitated by parents, not just me? Maybe award assemblies, library book fair visits, etc. And I also know that parents are only going to come in and be involved if they feel like they are appreciated and welcome. And lastly, I'd seek out community resources like the YMCA, churches, etc., to find out what the community interests are and what type of meetings do people attend, what do they support. And plan of action 3 is basically continuing the meeting Even though there's only 8 parents that are there, that's 8 parents that you can connect with. Canceling that meeting will leave a bad taste in their mouth and once again be a negative light upon the school. I discuss, even with those 8 parents, no matter who they are, how they would see parental involvement increasing. What kind of activities do they want to see the school do? Do they want to come in and help out with that? What are they hearing from other parents outside, at coffee shops, at church, etc.? Do parents not feel welcome at school, or they don't feel like they can come unless they have a formal invitation? And then I'd explain the reasons that the school welcomes the parents, how the school and parents can work together for the betterment of all of the students. And I'd thank them for coming over and over again and thank them for taking time out of their busy schedule to attend the meeting, even though it was a very short notice, which is my last point. Talk about additional ways to make the meetings more available to everyone. As a 5th grade teacher, I know there's a lot of things I send home that are forever lost in backpacks, left in the student mailboxes, etc. So that may not be the best way to communicate information. School reach, phone calls, Facebook, remind.com, anything like that to help get the information out there. How do I promote the success of all students? Basically, I know that parents want their children to succeed no matter what it takes, and they will help make that happen. Attending parent-teacher conferences, awards assemblies, school carnivals, etc., promote a community and school partnership. Students also need to know that we're all on the same side. I can't tell you how valuable it is to have me say, hey, I called your mom last week when you got 100% on your spelling test. I'm not afraid to call her because you're acting out in class. And so it's important for students to know that there is a partnership there. Parents need to know that the school has their child's best interest at heart. And sometimes that's not just something that can be assumed, it needs to be shown. So making those positive connections, those phone calls before little Susie's in trouble is great. Seeing a teacher in action, helping reteach a lesson, a bond that they might form over seeing something on a field trip. That's huge. When parents see that kind of interaction going on, it's extremely valuable. And also, we need to understand and let them know that we understand that lives are busy. They might be working multiple jobs. We don't need to make parents feel bad if they can't come in. Some parents can be more involved than others, and we have to accept that whatever the parent's level of involvement will be, that it's important. What was I thinking when I was evaluating this case? I was thinking about, how could I start off with simple little ways to get parents in the door and feel like they're a part of the school? I was also thinking, how hard or how could I erase the bad taste and the bad feeling that's going on with whatever's went on in the past with those prior parent-teacher groups? I was also thinking, how can I change the opinion of my principal who feels like any parental involvement is not going to be good and it's going to be negative and have consequences? That's something that I don't know that I can change, but I can try to lessen the load off of him for some degree and try and portray my positivity, and maybe it will catch on. What I was feeling, I felt bad that the principal thought that parent involvement wasn't good. I kind of wondered what he might be afraid of letting parents inside. I felt like the meeting was on really short notice, so that's why they only had 8 people there. Attendance could have been greater with more advanced prep. But then I wondered, did he do that on purpose? Did he want to show me up and say, see, parents don't want to come? And I'm a little bit angry. The principal wouldn't even consider or not holding, he'd even think about not continuing with the meeting with 8 people there. I don't care if one person showed up for that meeting. I think that the agenda should continue as planned. What I was valuing, first of all, I want my students to feel safe and secure. I want my staff to feel like they're productive and that they can teach. I want the parents to know what's going on at school. I want an open door policy. I want them to feel comfortable enough to attend meetings and have their suggestions be heard. And I also know that a school's best when all cylinders are firing. So there must be a strong core, and the core must always be reaching out again to gain additional pieces to help it grow stronger. Stay tuned for part 2.